Panzerkampfwagen Nummer 2 Panther. That would be number 5. Panther tank. To get to this tank is a bit complicated now. According to 8.7, the way I went through it, I went through the Panzer III-4 to the VK3001H onto the Panther. This is now going to get filled by the VK3002M that basically should be the Panther. It looks pretty much exactly like a Panther, has L70 gun. You don't have to run, you can't run the Schmalterm turret on it, and you don't get the L100 gun, but that's the way it's going to run. I think it's like this one. I think you still go through the Panzer III-4, and then you go through the baby Panther. So this tank, you get a pretty decent amount of hit points for a Tier 7 tank. 1270 is pretty okay, especially when you compare it to like my Comet. It only has 1150. I'm not sure why the Panther gets a fair clip more, but it does. It weighs 47 tons. It's not a lightweight. It's kind of like a light heavyweight medium tank. That wouldn't be welterweight. I don't know my boxing terms. Anyway, 750 horsepower. It's kind of okay. It gets up to speed if it's on flat ground or going down hills and stuff. But I wouldn't say this tank is anything like the T-3485 or like the T-43, like where it's more of an agile medium tank. This is more of a sit-in-place tank. It doesn't traverse very well. 28 is all right, but it's not in the 40s like most medium tanks. And the speed limit's only 48, which isn't too terrible, but it doesn't climb hills appreciably fast either. The hull armor is 85 in the front, 50 in the sides, and 40 in the rear, with some heavy sloping in the front, some sloping in the top of the side, but lots of shots can actually make it in through the top of the tracks and the side of the tracks. I found the Panther to be pretty easy to shoot in the side. It's not supremely well armored compared to some of the other tanks that it goes up against, especially like, I don't know, E75 or something. So the turret armor, originally the Panther will come with what the Panther normally looks like this, with the L70 gun, with the normal Panther turret. But when you get the better turret, it looks like this, and you get slightly better frontal armor. And the armor on the sides goes up to 60 from 45 and 45. So, taking a look at the armor on this tank, there's pretty heavy sloping. The main points where you're going to get penetrated a lot are down here. The front, sometimes shots go right through the front of that, the machine gun port, and you've got fairly large observational cupola ports in the top, and pretty much anything in the sides and the back are going to go through. The guns, it has a pretty it's got a healthy selection of guns. You can choose between like the derp gun, the L28, the L70, which is you probably will already have used in the 3001H. And if you're going to go through this later, you'll be going through the VK 3002M. That tank also has this gun. And you can also choose the L56 if you want to do a little bit more alpha damage, but struggle against Tier 8 and 9 tanks to penetrate them in the first place, because the penetration on this gun is really poor. 132, really, it's only going to be useful for you against Tier 5 and Tier 6 tanks, marginally against some Tier 7 tanks. The gun that you pretty much are forced to run on this tank to be useful in any higher tier, against any higher tier tanks like a T-34, T-32s, tanks with a fair clip more armor, you're going to want to run this gun, the L100 gun. And it's got a pretty decent rate of fire, 12.5 rounds a minute. The main detractor of this gun is its damage compared to what its penetration is. Like, the penetration is fantastic. 198 penetration is quite good. And if you dump in premium rounds, like 244 isn't bad either. But looking at 135, you have to hit what you're shooting at a number of times to do the same amount of damage, but that's sort of been made up for in the rate of fire. But it depends on what sort of situation you've got yourself in, where if you can get on top of a hill where you have tanks that are engaging from more medium to close range and you can support those tanks, that's where this tank excels, because the accuracy of 0.32 is fantastic. The aim time's quite good. It's a very different play style. It plays a little bit more like the Tiger than some other mediums. Like it's not going to be a tank you're going to want to be circle strafing many tanks in. Like I remember I had one game where I was straight circling I think it was a Yag Tiger, and I had to shoot him probably about 15 or 20 times in the side before I could actually kill him. And it took way too long to do, and I ended up getting flanked while it was happening. So things like that, that's not where this tank will excel. You probably don't want to end up doing that. The turret traverse for this turret is also a hell of a lot slower than the normal turret. The normal turret will actually turn at 41 degrees a second, so you could play it that way, but you'd have to run it with the L56 gun to try and get up close and punch through the armor with just proximity. Hopefully the closer muzzle velocity of the distance will make the L56 with the normal turret work for you. Actually, I don't even know if that will work. I don't even think you can run the base turret with that gun. I don't think you get that option. No, you can't even do that. I was wrong. So yeah, when you run the base turret, you're pretty much stuck with the L70. You don't really have much of another choice. So you're going to be using probably either this gun if you want alpha damage, or this gun if you actually wanted to do damage. So looking at the view range is 380. This is pretty good. If you combine that with a pair of binos and the coated optics, you're probably going to be able to see a fair bit. You're going to be able to see your enemies probably before they see you. And if you can try and get some trees in front of you, then they won't even be able to see who's firing at them. And you can just will them apart because they won't even be able to fire back. The signal range, I don't even have the best radio on this thing. Oh, I do. I just didn't have it equipped at the moment. The signal range is 710. The base radio is only 415. So that's pretty much on par with every other German tank around this tier. You're going to get a pretty good signal range. Yeah, so module-wise, what I would run if I was going to spend another 1,000,000 credits on this tank would be probably coated optics and perhaps a gun-laying drive, but I would like the binos because you do sit stationary while you're shooting a lot with this tank. So between coated optics and binos, like, it would probably be the best way to sit about doing this, because you just want to sit and pick away at people and not engage up close because you don't have the armor for it and you don't have the alpha damage for it. Normally, this tank needs to shoot quite a lot, so you're going to want to take probably as many rounds as you can get. I should probably take more than 40 because I have run out of ammo with this tank before. So you probably want to run this to as many AP shells as you can because they're not hyper expensive. And then you're going to run, I don't know, I like to run at least 10 APCR shells for when I run into the really, really bad tanks that I can't penetrate. Some of the tank destroyers and stuff in the higher tiers, it starts getting increasingly hard to do so. And a couple HE rounds to defend the cap. And just normal stuff for these things. Just a small repair kit, fire extinguisher, that kind of junk. So my crew is at almost 100% for everybody. This guy, I'm not sure why he's lagging behind the class here with only 98%. But when he's back up to full, he'll be learning Sixth Sense, because it's good to know when this tank gets spotted, because you should fall back, because whatever's shooting at you usually is doing around 250 to 500 damage back at you, and you can't take more than, I don't know, 3 or 4 of those before you're kind of crippled. And anything that goes in through the front can sometimes blow out your transmission and stuff, so you want to be careful. So I've taken camouflage a couple times with these guys because I don't want to be seen, and if I can not get spotted, that means I'm not getting shot at. And on the driver, I took clutch braking because the traverse speed on this tank isn't fantastic, and if I need to get out of somewhere and turn my tank around and drive back the other way to try and attack from a different angle, clutch braking will help me do so. The radio operator, I took situation awareness because I just want to see farther. So combining that with the optics and the telescopes will help with that quite a bit. And these guys are about 55%. I've only done probably about 50 to 70 battles in this thing, and it took a fairly long time to unlock this gun. And once you get this gun, it pretty much transforms the tank, because when you're trying to go up against a tortoise with the L70 gun, it's just a exercise in futility. Even running premium shells, you just don't have the muzzle velocity, and you'll bounce off him no matter where you shoot him. And his weak points are, unless you're point blank, they're really small. And if you're point blank with a tortoise, then you're probably already dead then. With this tank anyway. So that's pretty much it. Moving on from this tank, you can see that you can also unlock the Tiger 2 for a lot more research points than if you were just going to do it through the Tiger at 108 instead of about 78,000. And you can unlock the Panther 2, which costs 88,000 research points. And I'm assuming with the new 8.8 patch, one of these engines, or maybe two of them, I don't know how many engines these are going to disappear, but look to have at least one of them go bye-bye. So you'll have one less thing to research before you actually get here. So looking at the tech tree, going down this path here, it goes the Panther, Panther 2, E50, and the E50M. These tanks seem to be pretty effective. They are more like light heavy tanks than medium tanks a little bit. I haven't driven one yet. I could be completely wrong. I'm obviously not there yet. But from what I've seen, they're not the most nimble. If you want nimble, you probably want to go down this line. That's a line that I would prefer to go down now that I've kind of figured out what I like and what my playstyle is. So I'm just going to cut out of the garage here and get into some replays. This is a game I had using the stock turret on Fjords, and I had to be fairly careful here because I was very, very low tier. I mean, there was only two tanks that were pretty much worse than me, which are the T-21 and the ELC. So I kind of headed off into the middle here. As you can see, I'm only doing about 20, maybe 15 climbing this hill. Centurion's like, hey, see ya. Type 59, hey, see ya. T-43, he looks faster than me too. So yeah, if you're looking for a nimble tank, this probably isn't your best bet. So we spotted a whole bunch of guys down in there. And look what we got. There's a T-69, I can penetrate him. But he ran away. So I was able to put one round in the back of that guy before he kind of got too far around the corner. Now I'm going to let the Centurion 7-1 go ahead because he's like one of the 3 tier 9s on our team in this fight. So I'm just going to try and back him up with supplementary fire and fire whatever he fires at. So we've got an IS-3 and his tracks eat that shot, unfortunately. And I'm not angling enough, so I'm going to try and readjust right here. And I know I can penetrate the Panther, or the Tiger, because he has crap armor on the side. So I put one into him. And I kind of use the Centurion as a meat shield here. But now he's behind the rock. And I don't want to hang out near that IS-3 because he will tear me a new side port where I can get out of the side of my tank. And I don't know why our Centurion decided to drive back there. So there's a T-44. I probably don't want to play with him too much either. I'm bouncing a couple shots here. I haven't taken any damage yet, but that went in. I'm shooting prem shells right now just because I'm just trying to do as much damage as I can. So we were able to keep him tracked there and take him out. So that's not bad. That's one of their tier 8s out of the game. And you can see that there's a couple of guys in the middle here. So I'm going to try and get some shots on them if I can. Too bad that guy's hatch is in the way. So I'm able to put one in the back of him. And another one because he's busy dueling with our T-43. So the L-70 gun is more than capable of taking shots to the back and the side, obviously, of that the T-43. And we got an IS-3 here. I'm going to try and shoot him in the turret ring. That didn't really work. This is where this gun will not really be good enough here. I think the tracks ate that again, and I don't want to get shot by the IS-3, so I'm just going to pull back. And he gets pumped by, looks like the Centurion. And he's not paying attention, and that one was going to bounce. I'm going to try and shoot him in the lower plate, and he just dies on me. So then it's like me versus the other Panther. And once again, the camera keeps popping in the air. I really, really don't like that bug. And that guy's got the L100 gun and the upgraded turret. But I'm still able to penetrate him. And I light him on fire, and now he's burning. And I just want to secure the kill here. Oh, but that didn't work. So yeah, like this tank was... Normally, battles with this turret didn't go quite this well. I mean, I was able to do almost 1,500 damage with this gun in a tier 9 game. So it wasn't too terrible, but you don't necessarily want to keep this gun for longer than you have to, because yeah, and this was fairly close range fighting. I don't know. This map isn't the best map for the Panther. There aren't a lot of long corridors or hills you can sit on and shoot at people. So, maybe not the best example for the Panther in its primary best match. This is a match I had in Karelia. I'm just putting some shots into the IS-2. It's a defense mission. As you can see, shooting the Tiger is a lot easier than shooting the IS-6. All these guys are just sitting in the open, so it's like a turkey shoot. And this has got enough pen to go right through the front of the Tiger's turret, which is nice. So that's where I'm putting my shots, just right through the side of its face. Give me your cheeks. So that's 9 shots in already. I'm gonna critical on that dude. A little bit surprised him bouncing on the front of that guy's plate. I mean, he's kind of angled, but he's also on a downslope, so he's losing a bit of the sloping on his armor, so just hoping to get something in here. And that one does go in. Got that one to go in. Gun's pretty accurate. It's going exactly where I'm telling it to. I'm able to track him in place there, so we know he's still there. So just keep shooting, keep shooting, keep shooting. and blind fire enough and got him. So we're over 1500 because I know I got some blind shots in on him. I can see that IS-6 is there. Unfortunately, he's kind of on full health. And this is still pretty early on in my career here, and I haven't really fought an IS-6 before until this point. So I know I'm getting shot at by something over there, and it turns out to be a Tiger II, I think. And this gun is not adequate enough to penetrate him at range. I mean, I can hit him and stuff, but as soon as he kind of went 3/4 right here, it was really, really hard for me to try and pen him. And I probably shouldn't have wasted as many shells on him as I did. So I switched to premium, and I was able to get that shot to go through. Some of these shots are dropping a little bit wide, but he's about 400 meters away. Too many of these are dropping low. And that one unfortunately hit his front plate. So I'll start aiming at the lower glacis. That one goes high. Another shot lower glacis. That one bounced. So this is just kind of a waste of my premium shells at this point. Tiger II's like steel walling it. That one doesn't do anything. At this point I'm just trying to keep him tracked so the other guys that can pen him can do something to him. Yeah, so that was a bit futile. Now only have 10 rounds left and 2 HE shells. Spot this guy and I should be able to pen him absolutely no problem. So right here it looks like we're doing a pretty good job winning. So I'm going to try and get a couple more shots into this IS-6 if I can. Now I got pegged by that guy over there. So I just pull back behind the rocks again. You can see that there's a T-69 that's moved up on the other flank. It's only 2 minutes to go. We've got a lot of our tanks still alive. We're winning 9-5, so it's not looking bad for our team at all. And I don't want to go out and give that other VK over there side shots on my tank, so I'm just really hanging out here. And now I notice that he's popped out, so I'm going to take some shots at him, because he'll be easy to penetrate, and then someone else shoots him. So now I then realize there's no one else on the other side here, so I'm going to try and go around this IS-6. And I probably should have been a little bit more conservative and used the rocks here. But then I got shot by something else over there that sat there the whole frickin' game. He did nothing the whole game, the T-29, until he came out and shot me. So I'm able to hit him and track him. And I'm just trying to shoot him in the back, and then that one bounces. And that one bounces off his side armor. We got another bounce on his side armor, and these are all flush shots into the spaced armor on the side of this tank. And I'm just like, what the hell do I need to do to penetrate this guy? Like, he doesn't... Yeah, he doesn't have, like, sloped armor there. It's just, it looks like it's spaced armor, and... Yeah, so the IS-6 defeated me, and I ended up losing that battle. Well, I didn't lose. We didn't lose, but I ended up doing, like, almost 2,400 damage, I think. And we did win, but the IS-6 ended up killing me, which was kind of crap. And I was kind of upset that that he killed me, because I thought at least one of those shots at point blank with 200 pen should have been able to do that IS-6, but didn't turn out in my favor. Here we are on Erlenberg, and we're on an assault mission. And I'm just saying in chat that I'm going to cover from the hill. But our T-25-2 thinks I should be scouting. The Panther is now a scout tank. Maybe he got me confused with the Leopard or something. Or maybe he has no idea how to play this game. So I was just kind of like, yeah, in the Panther. That's a good idea. So I just drove over the side here. At least the T29 knows that Panthers snipe, so. Get to spot that guy, do a critical hit into him. And now I'm just going to try and get up on the hill here. Where I can see there's more tanks. And another one into him. I know he's only got the L70 gun, so he's going to have a harder time penetrating me than I'm going to have penetrating him. That's another one into him. He kind of jams himself into the side there, and I'm getting shot by, like, a lot of something. The VK probably was using the Kunsch gun from across the map there. So I just dropped back and tried to reposition so I could get some shots on this Tiger P. So I just kind of drove forward and started firing through the trees. And this is exactly where this tank excels. I mean, he's about 400 meters away. And unfortunately for him, he's not very smart, and he's driving right out into the open. So I'm just going to try and take this guy out first. And that one ricochets off his gun matlet. So I'm just going to try and aim more at the flush side of his turret, because he's not turning it. And that one goes through. And he's not having a very good day. And now the Tiger P is just out in the open. He's giving me his side. I don't have to go through 200 penetration of frontal armor on him. So this guy's just going to get... I'm just going to whittle him apart. That was a really high roll of 158. That was 140. One more shot after this. Guy fixes his tracks a little bit too late, and now he's done. And there's a Panzer III-4 over there, and I will penetrate him any day, no problem. And he's probably still sitting there, so take a blind shot. So this has worked out pretty good. Both of our T-29s still have like just about half health. So I'm going to make myself some cover here, just by sitting in this bush and then shooting through the tree. So I'm hoping these guys will move up and do some spots and stuff. Because I got the binos on, and now I'm just waiting for them to pop out. But unfortunately, the T-29s were just... Yeah, I don't know why they just wanted to sit there. They just sat there and sat there and sat there. So let's just speed this up. So we finally get some shots on these guys. That one goes in quite good, so I'm going to try and get the lower plate on that guy. And that might have gone in. I've done almost 2,000 damage now. 15 shots. And our last T-29, he's only got about 150 hit points left, so he's got to be pretty careful. And I want to try and make sure he doesn't die, but... Okay, see that guy's popped up again, and he's only giving me his turret, so that's not going to happen. But this guy will happen. And someone else clips him at the same time as I hit him, which was good. So he's out of the game now. And kind of figuring the T-29s would rush this other T-29, but because like the other guy has 844 hit points still, and the T-25/2, he's pretty sure he had about 500 hit points as well. So kind of figuring at this point these guys aren't going to do anything major here, so I'm just going to push up because I can take at least one shot from that T-29. So I can see that he's running away over here. So I just park myself on the hill here, get my gun depression down. Gun depression on this tank is okay. It's not fantastic. You want to get to positions where you can just shoot like that and just keep firing as much as you can. So you can see all the shots that went in through me. I did bounce a couple off the front there, but most of the stuff that did hurt me was through the Lord Glacius in this tank. I'd say overall, it's not my play style as much because I don't really like. It's almost like playing like a tank destroyer where you kind of sit in the back, where you with the 101s you don't have like a whole ton of frontal armor, so you sit in the back and you shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot, and you just try and whittle people down, like I did there, just shooting and shooting and over and over and over again. And most of the time you're shooting them enough that you're going to start critically injuring their tank, and you can only heal so many people and heal so many modules before you've kind of crippled someone with enough hits. And that's kind of the thing with the Panther. You want to just keep shooting, and it has okay gun depression. It's not fantastic, and the mobility is okay. You can get in positions fairly easily, and maps like this are a lot more its bag. When you get in maps that you can't where you have to fight up close, it's not where this tank excels. You don't really want to be doing that because you don't have the armor for it, and your turret turns really slow. If you get into a fight with a Chaffee or a Cromwell, they're going to be able to circle you pretty easy. So yeah, this tank's pretty fun. I like it for the most part. It's maybe not my play style, but for some people it is, and I would probably recommend it. I think the Russian tanks, the Russian mediums, are a little bit more my style. They're a little bit more fast and fun to play, or maybe the Chinese lights. But if you're the type of person that likes to hang in the back and put a lot of shots downrange, and you're not afraid to shoot about 30 or 40 times to do just about 2,600 damage, like I think I did in this game, then this is maybe the tank for you. So Panther, it's going to get a baby brother soon in 8.8. Thanks a lot for watching, and if you liked the video, hit the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Keep your armor pointed at 45-degree angle.